It's time for Leathered Podcast!
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Leathered Podcast. I've been leathered, plus I've always leathered cunts as well, so I think it's a good life lesson basically. You need to get your ass kicked sometimes. Have you been leathered before, Ross?
I've had some embarrassing doings, for sure.
Have you leathered people before?
I have.
There you go.
See, I feel a wee bit left out here because I've definitely been leathered. I don't think my numbers of leathered people are up there.
No, it's a good balance.
You got to pump the numbers. Got to get ready to rookie numbers.
I'm Chris Bungard with my other two co-hosts, Paul the Beer Jew Craig and Ross Cooper.
Just Ross.
Just Ross.
We were talking about this just before we come on, and we're like, what we introducing ourselves as, and Ross is like, just Ross.
Just Ross.
Just
New
Ross.
nickname, Just Ross.
That'd be a good TV show, Just Ross.
Just Ross.
I think so.
I'd
watch that show.
That can be the first competition to win some podcast merchandise.
Like Young Rock, and it's like
Come up with a nickname.
Come up with a nickname for Ross.
Aye.
Have you ever had an actual nickname?
Never.
Never had one?
Never went into a fight with a nickname ever.
What were we calling him for ages? Was it Trooper Cooper? What was it we were calling him?
King Cooper.
We were calling him something?
Cooper Trooper.
Was it Coops? I don't know what it is.
I've never had one that stuck in that.
No.
So Leathered we came across the podcast and called it Leathered. We were trying to get a wee Scottish slang to it.
Yep.
Or got to call it maybe Square Go, but
I like that.
Mark Dallas and maybe Suze for ICW.
I liked the one, what was it? Toctagon? I thought it was kind of cool.
Aye.
I thought it was kind of cool.
I think I was told that was why you call it that. Were you told?
I don't think you're kind of steered into the world of this is just an MMA podcast.
I know.
Well, I definitely don't believe it is just an MMA podcast.
No, I'm sure we'll go down some rabbit holes today.
You want to go down the rabbit hole of... so we're
Rio de Janeiro.
We're literally just back for Rio. It was a cool experience, wasn't it? Obviously, the fight didn't go our way, but hey, it's part of the business, innit? I'm sitting here with a broken nose. I've got an operation tomorrow to get it squared up. I'm still in the process of looking for that next fight.
Maybe do you a favour with that nose.
What is it? I remember you said.
I can't believe it's the first time you've had it broke.
No, it's been broke before, but it always had it. No, this first time it's happened in a fight. First time it's happened in a fight. So I'll get it sorted. But what is it you said? That man can smoke a cigar in a thunderstorm that wouldn't get wet.
How does it feel being the uncrowned champ? But
I know the only man they beat, Jamal Hill.
and a lot of people still think that Magomed beat Jan Blachowicz. Beat him as well. I don't think he did. I think Jan won that fight, but
when you see the top 10, like they've hardly fought each other.
Aye.
All of them.
I know.
Paul's by the only ones that's fought. Half of them probably.
So I've fought 5 of the top 10, and there's only another 5 guys in front of me. 2 of them are injured, and
Glover's out.
Prohaska's out because he's got long-term injury with his shoulder.
Lies.
Rakic is out as well.
Absolutely. Where's his jacket for 50 clean tests?
I'd seen that he was getting tested. Like, just about
He's had 65
Prohaska.
tests.
Ira.
Aye.
So where's his jacket for his 50 clean tests?
I've been excited
Just
to
jump
get my
about the
jacket.
snow into it, putting videos in.
Aye, with his broken shoulder that he's out fucking chucking snowballs.
Did you like Jamal Hill's comeback to that? Where are you?
Yeah,
Where are you? He's
Jamal's funny, man.
I'm here, man.
How does it feel to be the only guy to beat the current champion in the world?
Is
it
fight,
bittersweet?
I knew Jamal was going to win. I've got nothing but love and respect for the guy. Been out partying with him again in Rio. I'm glad he won. Obviously, I wanted him to win for a selfish reason as well. And I could be like, hey, can we run this back?
Aye. I think he would.
No, he said it to me. We were signing posters, and his line was, the next time me and you sit here, we'll be signing our own faces.
Aye.
So it's kind of cool. Like I do like him. He's kind of a cool cat. We obviously had our beef leading into your fight, but I'm glad he won. It sticks in my chest. Like,
I think it bothers him. True, as much as you're saying he's nice to you and you went for a drink, and do you think it could be strictly business? Do you know what I mean? Like,
They would definitely win that back. They definitely would won that win back.
Well, it's
only guy to beat
I
you.
would say like I can understand when people watched Ankalaev fight and went, well, you beat him. Well, you were beat. He was done this and done that. Aye, but I won. It doesn't matter. Ankalaev couldn't stop me. Whereas when it comes to the Jamal Hill fight, it was a broken arm. You know what I'm saying? Dislocated shoulder. The alignment of the arm came out. So that's not just a win going the distance, or he caught me with a fluky shot. It was like he took my arm.
And he became like the meme after. Do you remember all the memes about it and that?
I think you do. I think you need to to get back in the win column.
Aye.
One more win, and then you could start maybe asking
It
for
can totally change. I thought, see, leading into that fight with Walker, I was like, I'm beating him everywhere. Stand up, I got this. Jiu-jitsu, I got this. And then I caught his leg, and I was like, oh, you fucker, this is game day. You're going down.
Fight's over.
And then I went to do my thing, and the next thing, a big fist came and just fucking squashed my nose into my
classic
face.
Stevie Houston. Remember we used to catch a fight,
and just
but
smash
apparently he does it and he drills it every day.
Aye.
So
That was his coach had said that. It was like one of the things they'd actually worked. They said, we seen you were good at catching kicks, so we were expecting you to catch the kick, and we were just going
to be fair, you took the punch pretty well.
Aye, look at the nose bit. Look at the nose. I can get a zoom up in the nose, but I'm struggling to breathe. So I'm like a constant mouth breather now. Like, I'm struggling to sleep at night and stuff.
So that's what it comes to my point where, like, you need to experience this stuff in life. Half of the people out there don't understand.
Getting punched in the face.
No got a fucking clue.
I think everybody should get their ass whooped once, at least once in their life, just to know
Humble
the
you.
balance of life. You know what I mean?
Humble you, man.
Sometimes you need to get leathered. That's it.
Yeah. But then leathered also is other context that we use leathered in. To get pissed, to get steaming.
Exactly.
Oh, I was
There's a
fucking.
few-
I was
there's a few
leathered last
reasons.
night. I was.
Do you know one of the worst things about losing
Oh.
fights though?
I leathered her last night.
I think they act like it's no big deal. Eh? That's the worst part. I remember that fight I was just talking about there. First ever time you're fighting on like a really big stage. This is not a local show you're
Ross
fighting.
is also a professional mixed martial artist. By
I
the way,
just,
for
I just
anybody.
never go to the gym. Eh? Can't be fucked. And I remember my son had FaceTimed me after. And he was like, "Oh, Dad, how did it go?" We didn't win the day, buddy.
That's it.
And the boy had been fighting. Come walking down the corridor.
I'm not laughing at him.
In fact, I'm trying to share a moment.
I went down the wrong way.
He's telling us sentimental moment with his son, and you're
know,
just laughing.
you're
at
laughing
us.
I did not laugh. The coffee just hit.
I'm
the
on
wrong-
FaceTime with the wee man, and Ken Berg came walking down the corridor, and you've got to like
Acknowledge.
laugh it off. You've got to just be like, inside you're fucking devastated, but you've just got to be like,
That's it.
Any's ever had a good cry after you've lost? Be truthful.
Only
Be
if I'm
truthful.
on my own, by
truthful.
myself.
Never.
Never, not in the fight game. No,
You could have big fucking.
no, not in
cojones,
the
man.
fight game. I have cried several times.
Aye. I had see after my first loss, I had went like, let's say it was 16 fights unbeaten. Man, I was the guy. Go to Vegas, was brought in with the lights, glitz, glamour, women, you name it. I was
Protein and titties.
aye, protein and titties, man. So I was I'd never experienced loss, so I went into this fight, had made it to the UFC, had beat the guy in under 2 rounds in the UFC who was unbeaten. I was like,
This is not very hard.
You're right.
like, I've got the cheat codes. Like, this is easy. And after I lost, and Mark Goddard had to come in and save me.
How are you?
I went-
tearing up.
I went. I went.
You get the Denzel cover.
Aye, so I remember. I've told you this story countless times. I go back into the locker room, and the coach had to go out and corner Mark Godby, and I was left kind of myself. Nobody was round about me, and I just went to it, and felt sorry for myself. And then I heard them all come back, and
Just
it was.
jar it up like Bill Burr. Just jarred it up.
Aye,
Put it in the stomach.
that's exactly what happened. I heard them all coming back, and it was there was victory in their voices, and I just had to go close that shit, suppress it, and then come out like as if nothing had happened, man. And it took me honestly. After it took me probably about 2 months to actually. I was in a self-destructive
It's a big
mode.
deal, man.
I was in self-destructive. I was like trying to like destroy my life and everything.
But again, it's things people can't understand.
Yep.
You see, when I see comments or I see, and to be fair, when I interact with people out and about, like Saturday night there I was at work and I had guys, a boy came up to me actually and he was like, oh, back in, I think he was, a couple of years ago you were in Dubai. He's like, I seen Paul Craig in Dubai, got a picture with me at the pool and that, great guy, really like him. When you see him, wish him all the best and that, and he's like, oh, shame about the last fight. And you think, when you meet people in public, their reaction's always positive. That's just dog shit that you see online with people who've
Right, I've got when they can put up a disguise.
That's
Oh, man, I
it,
get
yeah.
it.
And I go on it, like, I'm terrible for clicking on their profile and I just see this, like, fat fuck with a beer in each hand, like, aye, what I'd have done was, if that had been me, mate, you can't, when, you didn't even know when you last had a pint of water.
Right. Do you want to know why it's one of my favourite lines? The best line I ever get. See if I meet MD and he go, oh, can you do that MMA? I'd just kill a guy. I would. See if you put me in that cage.
I couldn't stop.
I would just kill him. Oh, would you? Because that guy's going to let you kill him.
I know.
And do you know how you're trying to kill him? Do you know how you're trying to end this fight? Do you think I'm playing?
The angry ones in it. I'm too angry for that.
Oh.
I wouldn't let go.
I
Man.
would just see red. And that's it.
Aye.
No, you
Bodies-
wouldn't. You would see
bodies hit the
black.
floor.
You would see red. You would see black. And you'd be lying there.
I see it all the time. See it every
hilarious.
weekend. It's like, fuck, boys were getting flatlined on Saturday night at my work. So just
So obviously leading into that leathered thing, you ever been in a nightclub and been knocked out after you've won a title?
have you?
Aye.
actually?
I get knocked out by a header.
mate,
Do you remember this?
Aye, big jump.
Aye. Headed me. Full
Guy I
force.
played
right.
fab away for years.
What did they do that for?
Always
idea, mate.
probably drunk and annoying him. Being Paul, maybe.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Underrated the
Probably
headbutt.
trying to
Right?
shag his mops.
Underrated goal.
As long as she's in the 50s, mate. So I'm in the nightclub and just won the title. It was like an FFC title. It was like a local show, and I was
I
chatting
didn't
to
know it
this.
was after one of them.
It was,
Oh,
aye. And
man.
I'm standing like feeling like the man, having a couple of whiskies, celebrating. The next thing I know, I'm lying in the floor,
Quality.
and I wake up and I was like, what happened? I had no idea what happened. He sideswiped me through the side, man, bump, and down I went. Funny thing, I was in the public maybe a month later, and a guy I know comes up to me and goes, Paul, can I have a chat with you? And I says, aye, what is it? And he's like, listen, he's standing outside and he doesn't want to come in. He's scared that you're going to hit him. And I said, you're fucking right, I'm going to hit him. Well, he thought I was like a bit mental, but actually I'm like just this big soft guy. And I was like, I went and spoke to him. I said, listen, mate, I don't mind that you headed me.
No, you should have fought him.
Nah, like
No, you should have fought him
that,
back.
like what was I getting for that? Like sparking a guy who was
You
clearly
getting
shitting
even?
himself.
That's what it's called.
Aye, getting even. So that's why my being leathered's higher than me dishing out the leathering.
Right, okay. I still don't believe that though, because you've got about 17 wins to your name, so.
Snap cunts arms and
Aye,
that.
but that's easy when there's rules.
Aye.
Because see if I'm out in the street,
Who's
I'll-
saying doctor going?
See that?
I just see red and I see black.
I love that.
So, let's talk a wee bit about Rio, man. Obviously, we've been to Brazil before, we went to Sao Paulo.
Yep. We didn't go out the last time we
When you
went.
beat Shogun, aye, we weren't allowed it.
So I got an email from the UFC, and it's basically shit's going down when it's comes to who's the guy that like is it Campbell? Who's the guy that runs it? Is Campbell in it?
Aye, it's not his first name though.
Aye. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Shit's about to go down. If he's sending you a message like he sent you out, like if he's asking a question, there's a reason he's asking a question. So he sends out this email and it's like, don't do this, don't go into Ubers, don't go out after this time. Bum, 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 bum. There was all these things about gun, like getting stopped with guns, hold-ups, carjackings, all this kind of
I
stuff.
think because Shogun had been robbed before, or
That's
held
right. So,
hostage or
so I
something.
had spoken to the guy from Sucker Punch, his management. So where we were having, like, we were going out at night and sitting in that wee beach
Yeah.
bar. What happened was all the UFC staff were going out there and sitting down there every single night. Somebody had obviously tipped them off. Next couple of nights before one of the fights, car flies up, everybody jumps out, robs them, takes all their stuff, jumps in the car and
At
drives away.
gunpoint?
Aye, gunpoint.
Aye, all the big wigs.
Aye. And
You're literally like 100 yards from your hotel. It's just on the beach. And if,
like,
unless I thought they were
that
safe.
side it's amazing, but then tell them about
So I didn't get this email for Hunter.
aye, Hunter, that was it. They never got the email because I never forwarded it because I was like,
It's not the first time you've done that.
Chris isn't going to bother about that anyway, so what's the point of even messaging him? Because he had it in his head. I got a message for Adam, who's my strength and conditioning coach, saying Chris is looking to go to the favelas. And I was like,
Of course he is.
I'm like, you're at it. Right, so the first time I speak to Chris is round about when we're on the plane. I was like, Adam was saying you might go to the favelas, and he's like, no, I'm going to the favelas.
No, I know people that stay in the favelas. That was what it says.
Wait, how do you know somebody that stays in a favela?
Because he spoke to me on Instagram.
But this is why
He's a
I can't
rapper.
come with you, eh? Because Chris will say something like, I think we should go to the favelas, and I'll go, that's a great idea, mate. Let's do it right now.
See,
and
the favelas is the real Brazil. No, I mean, I know it's quite dangerous and that, but that's where the real people are.
Right.
I'm just too
Just
easy
tell-
led, eh?
Like, tell him the first day you go to the favelas was it like a Tuesday or Wednesday?
Aye, it was the Tuesday. So I've got a rapper pal. He's not my pal, but I talked to him.
He's our pals now.
He's called Vitor, but he stays in the favela. He's not a big time rapper, but that's what it is in there. He's like, oh, come, I'll show you the favelas, give you the real experience of Brazil. So he sends his pal over, and a motorbike to pick me up at the hotel. Wee pal looked like Reggie Blinker, absolutely doubly Reggie Blinker, right? He's a guide though. He's a tour guide. And so we go on a motorbike, right? I send him a video, me going in and out of motors and that, rapid, right? So I think they're supposed to hold the back of motorbikes in Brazil, but like, know what I mean?
Fuck
I
it.
don't mind touching that, man. So I was like right round him, man.
Hooks in the wall.
He's like, so I'm going to go a wee bit quicker here, bro, because we're going on a motorway. I'm like, oh great. As I'm going away from the hotel, I'm just seeing all these favelas and shanty towns or whatever. And he's doing about 150 on a motorway, and I'm not kidding on. He's doing about 150, and there are potholes everywhere, and he's going in and out of corners. And I was shite myself. Honestly, I was fucking shite myself, and all I could do.
I'm going to put this into context. What happened when you were going home?
Oh, we got fucking the bus driver. We crashed.
So that's him just driving a normal bus, right? Sorry, on you go, Chris.
Fucking crashed into a
So
motor.
these guys, you might have seen this, man. It's like it's no man's land.
I was ready to put in a claim, man. My dodgy fucking nerve. So there's potholes everywhere. So I'm just like, I'm going so fast. If I hit one of them, I'm dead. There's no question about it. So what did I do? Like pure the unmanliest thing I've ever done in my life, and I still regret it to this day. It still annoys me. I just shut my eyes, man. I literally shut my eyes and held one of this guy. Smell coconutty. And it's just like I squeezed him, and it must have felt me squeezed him. He's like, relax, buddy. And I'm like, nah, no, I'm alright here. Like, just
I'm having a nice time.
All these flies just pinging off my face. Like, seeing Dumb and Dumber, he's got them on his teeth and all that. So we go into this favela, Rochina. It's the biggest favela in Rio. Holds like 300,000 people. So we drive right up to the top of it, and then we walk down it. So the guy ended up showing me about like, a bit of culture and all that. Just drug dealers just come up to you with guns and all that, just right up to you, like bumping fists with you and all that. They're like, oh, these are the drug dealers, but they've got rules. They can't touch you because they'll get killed. Anyway, so
Can you buy gear off them?
Aye, not
And they're
a
cool with
problem. Aye, not a problem.
Tootski.
One thing I didn't take was any tootskis though.
El Gringo.
What a shame.
So I met Black Jesus and everything. There was like, they're so.
Aye,
They're
so Chris comes out of the room and he says, he goes, Paul. And I was like, what is it? He was like, do you know Jesus is black? And I was like, what? And he was like, in Brazil, all the pictures of Jesus are black. They think he's black. And I was like,
that's
"Why?"
a thing, apparently.
22 Jump Street's Korean.
So, so I'm talking to all these guys. There's like guys doing capoeira, there's dancers and stuff like that, but they're all loaded with guns. And you're not bothered about it because they're being sound with you.
Yeah.
I mean, they're no aggressive or that. I go to my mates, the guy I know into his house, takes us up. It's literally just concrete blocks, like 3 floors, there's nothing there. This balcony looked over the fully Rochina, all these like wee shanty towns and shanty houses and that. What a view though, like beautiful, man. But they've got nothing, they've got absolutely nothing. And he showed me his wee studio, like he set his car for it to make a studio and that. And they were telling me like the biggest drug dealer stays up in the biggest house and at the top. Millions, he takes millions off everybody, but he can't leave the house because he'll die. So he's got all these guards and that. He can't come out of this house.
But who are they selling to? Tourists?
Just everybody.
Just even,
But
like if you just live in the favela,
he takes money off all the shops and all the everything.
Protection money.
Aye, everything. The tour guys and that. So that was quite cool. Then your man just dropped us off and we went to see the Christ Redeemer. However, the second
What
time...
you did was you said, that was good. I'm going to try and roll the dice again. So we're in the room and you're like, Paul, did you know there's a Michael Jackson video filmed in Rio? I said no. And he goes, aye. So we start listening.
How good is the song?
The song's brilliant. So for the full rest of the rest of the trip, all we'd sung was this song, and we kept doing this because Michael Jackson walks out the door and goes, flicks the bird. So Bungard's like, I'm going to ask the management if I can go to, if they can hook up a ride to get me to this favela, because he said there's a statue of this and I want to go and see it. And I was like, cool.
Did you go?
No.
Aye, good.
I didn't want to take anybody with me, man. It was too risky.
So on you go for the second part of you rolling the dice again. The big man's trying to roll double sixes.
So because we got Paul's management took care of the Christ the Redeemer, they had a driver picked us up. So I'm like, can I get a driver that could just take me in, take a few photos, whatever, and then just bring me back?
So you drive right up to it?
That's what I thought was going to happen. So it turns out the driver just took me to a guide, and the guide we walked to the top of the steepest favela in Brazil, which is the most dangerous one in Brazil. The posts were at the bottom, the posts don't go in. I'm like, great. I just thought it was going to be a 2-minute job.
Well, I'm here now.
So the tour guide takes me up.
Was the thingy was busted as well, the train or something like that?
So there's a train that goes to the very top, so it could just cut out all the middle. And we walked it and it was broke. The guy's like, oh, it's not working. And the guy's like, oh, we need to walk. We need to walk all these steps to these side streets. So I take a few photos of these wee back streets in the favela, right? Just because of the stairs. Is actually where Michael Jackson was dancing and stuff like that. And out in the area up the top, some boy just comes out as I took a photo, and he's just lost his shit, man, because he thought I was taking a photo of him. God's mental. Man, taking photos of me. I'm like, nah, I was taking photos of the step, man. Like, my guide runs down. This guy's flashing his lanyard and that. They weren't buying it. They weren't buying it at all. So I showed him the photo. I was like, oh, erase, delete. He was in it in the background. But it went to my deleted folder, so I still had it, know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. We got up to the top. We bypass all these people. We get to the top with the statues. We'd have done an actual music video, and just two guys just standing out with M16s and AKs. Just they weren't doing on the AirPods in, and they're just like nodding to you, know what, man.
Trying to listen to Michael Jackson just on repeat.
Aye.
It's just on
a nice time.
I don't really care about us.
So they just waved to me. I'm like, that's happening. We took some photos. I'm like, right, let's go back down. As we're going down, some of the guys we passed, there was many of them now, and they were all loaded. They're all tooled up.
That's because they got the message,
like,
gringo.
A lot, come here, basically. Like, why are you here? And then my guide, I was like, right, fucking earn your money. You know what I mean? Earn your money.
Save us, save me.
And he's like, blah, 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 speaking Portuguese. And they're just shaking their head, man. I'm just like, there's one guy, he had his gun at his side and just literally comes out and just points it right in my chest, man. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I'd bought a wee white t-shirt off a woman, like 2 seconds before it. I'm like, I bought a t-shirt, man. I mean, like, I'm here to put money back into the place.
People.
The guy's like pointing like an M16 right at me, like, it's okay, man. It's okay. I'm like,
it looks okay.
No, you're saying it's okay, but you and your homies got guns pointed at me. As I'm just bead of sweat, just like right down me. And I was like, dang, he's flashing this, and they're just like, they weren't buying it, man. And I'm just like, this is it, man. Just pop to the side and then on your way. See the bit Fast and the Furious 5 where they all come out to the Rock, and the Rock pulls his gun out, and they all fuck it, beat it. That was there, right, that bit.
Was it?
That exact spot. And they all came out of neighbour. It was right out of the film. So they let us go down, and then where I took that photo, the first boy went mental. There's a big fat fucker sweating with a gun just standing there, like when he let us by. And he's like, apparently there was a new president of the favela that we needed permission because the tour guy used to deal with another guy, and they wouldn't let us go until they go to the president, and he's like, go get him. And so I was just held there.
Just yourself?
No, with the tour guy. And the guy's like, it's alright. And I'm like, better be, man, better be. They couldn't find the guy, and the fat guy's like, just go. Next time, like, you come and see me to the other guy. Get back in the motor, my driver had to take me there. And he told him a wee bit, like, the cunts pull us up with guns, and they get drivers like, Brazil, eh? I just sat in the back, just take me to the hotel, bro. So didn't speak for about 5 minutes, man. The first one was amazing, and that one was pretty horrible.
Just too much.
You come into the room, and this was the best line ever. He comes in, and I can see he was a wee bit shook up. I was like, hey, you alright, mate? And he's like, aye. He's like,
you're not going to believe that.
He's like, I nearly fucking died. And I was like, seriously? And he was like, I don't even fucking like Michael Jackson.
I know,
you're a big fan. It was just
fucking nearly died for Michael Jackson.
I know, man.
I'd have made sure that was a song. See your funeral. I'd have made sure that was a song. Just everybody dancing it.
Like, honestly, I'm no a big Michael Jackson fan, but I just thought it was because we were so close to it. I'm like, let's go and see what it is. But so this stupid film location page going to end up getting me killed one day.
But you end up, when it's like you've only got a fight to look forward to, you do run out of things to do.
So we told Paul's management, like, I was at the favelas, and
they're like, no,
they didn't believe me.
No,
like,
you didn't. You're at it. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
They're like, there's nothing to no belief. Show them the pictures, Chris.
And they were like, whoa. Like,
I like the one with the M16 over Michael Jackson.
Aye.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, no, it was
'Cause
It's a
someplace
different
in it.
world there. It's a different world though.
Brazil, man.
But even the people on the beach, some of them are fucking sketchy. They'll follow you and that. Like daylight, everybody's kicking about in the beach. So
That's
they'll
right.
just
When
rob
you-
you there now.
Danny was like saying, so Danny had, one of the guys that was in the corner, Danny Gray, had said to you and Sean, he's just paranoid.
No,
And
there
it
was
there
people following us.
There was guys going to
100%.
rob them, and he's just
I'm
oblivious to it.
paranoid.
They were walking down the beachfront. They were definitely following
was
us.
one
They
of the
were
things that-
passing. They were talking. They were passing people into us, like as if then they had to follow us.
Aye.
No, that was true.
And so, see when everybody's speaking Portuguese,
I was just like, no matter who it is, just hit them first. If it's a
Who do they
if
think
it's
yous
a
are
woman,
like? What
if
is
it's
it? But-
anybody comes at you with
Well-
a knife or that, just fucking smash them.
kind of guys kind of stand out who are super white, no tan, and everybody in Brazil was pretty small, weren't they? They were all like really small. But so you're listening to these people speak Portuguese, and the only word you're catching is gringo. Well, you just call us gringos.
Aye, I was called gringo a few times.
Like, don't fucking call me a gringo.
So do they not like us?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just people, what is it they call it, finessing, isn't it? They're just people finessing.
Aye.
People just trying to get a bit of dough.
Just trying to get a few dollars.
Tom Logic in the top corner, not me finesse. That's what I can say.
Aye, finessing. So they call scamming you finessing. Aye, so we had obviously went to Christ the Redeemer, and it was just everybody's trying to scam a couple of bucks for you. So we get there. The drive is horrendous, man. Right, we're in this car, and there's 6 of us in it. We've got one too many in the car. Right, it's super tight, super sweaty. Adam was there.
Adam
but
was sweating.
he'd get sunburnt the day before, so he was, and he had like a half zip on in Rio. Absolutely sweating, and I was like, mate, you're going to have to like give me
Take
some
that off.
space. You're so warm. You're making me feel sick. So we get to the bus. We get out. The queue to get up, it's like a tram kind of thing. It runs right up the top of the mountain. Was packed, and it was like, oh, you'll not get up today. So
Today?
Today, yes, you might have seen it was queued all the way up. So the driver, so a guy comes down and says, "Oh, I can take you." This is obviously what we're catching when we're asking management, like, what's happening. So management explains, "Oh, this guy's going to take us up, and all we need to do is pay him." That seems fair enough. So their driver was like, "I can take you up." So their driver takes us up. Flying up this hill, I was shitting myself, man. I literally. And
You
it's
don't,
like,
like, you don't like heights, don't you?
I don't like heights, and I don't like people driving like an absolute dick.
At the edge of cliffs and all.
That's it. It's like a proper fall. Like, you know what I mean? When you look over, and I was like, oh my god. So I was sweating. Big Adam's fucking like a radiator next to me, just sweating all over me. And we get up to the top, and then you get out, and the place is packed. I'm talking like you can't move, like. And then there's people grabbing at you, trying to say like, "Oh, I can get you in cheaper. I can get you in cheaper. I can get you in cheaper." So we managed to get this wee tour guide, and he,
Keenan and Kel guy.
aye,
Keenan and Kel.
so he manages to take us in the back door, but he disappears. Remember?
Aye.
And then we're all looking for this guy. We couldn't find him. And
He,
was
he left a phone, and the
left
phone
a phone.
wasn't coming on. And I was like, this is a dodgy phone,
Aye.
man. He's probably done
So
this a million
we
times.
had convinced ourselves this guy had just finessed us. So then we go out. I'm going outside, and he finds me. Same again, like, because I'm a foot bigger than everybody. Like, it's literally like Lord of the Rings stuff. So he goes in. He actually does get us in pretty quick. Gets us in. We go up to the top of another bus journey. Same again. The guy that's driving it, he's definitely trying to drive up there, but he's doing about another 6 different things while he's driving. Like, he's messaging the birds. Remember the taxi driver?
Oh my
The
god.
guy was a player. The guy was selling motorbikes while he was fucking driving us about.
his screensaver and his cover photo was his cell doing this or something.
Point at it, like, so it was just like
Quality.
I was like, his screensaver is his cell. His face.
so I nudged Chris and go look, and he's like, "What is it?" So he's talking to this guy. So the guy's got a profile picture on his WhatsApp. He zooms into the guy's missus. He's just looking at his mate's missus. I'm like, "Chris, check this out, guy." So the guy's just a player.
Made you a cliff shit. You know what I mean?
Aye. So he's driving up a hill and like first gear because there's that much weight in the back of the car to get to the top of this hill. And we get to the top, and the same again. It's packed. You can barely even move, and it's so warm up the top of this hill. And I thought Big JC was going to be a bit bigger.
Aye. It was quite small, wasn't it?
Aye, like
How did they get him up there? You know that? Kaiser Redeemer? How did they get that statue up there? I
don't know.
Surely airlifted it. But they just.
How long's it been there?
a couple of weeks. But it's one of the things like we couldn't go to
But
Rio and
how-
go see it.
How is the statue no black?
Why is Jesus not black? You see his jaw? He's got that Bigfoot Silver jaw.
The growth hormone jaw.
Yes. Big GIC. And there's a chapel underneath it.
Aye, I didn't go in there.
I had no idea. So see underneath the statue, there's a chapel underneath it, which is pretty cool. But then by the time you've been up there, and like we're literally out at like 10 o'clock that morning.
It was a long day, man.
It was such a long day because we were going to go to Sugarloaf Mountain to see where James Bond was filmed, and we're like, management's like, fancy going there? And I was like, no.
That was another like
take me home.
That'd be another long day like that.
I'm like, that's
I
not
ruined the
happening.
photo. I gave the finger like up next to the Christ Redeemer, and I was raging.
Why?
Between that and shut my eyes on the motorbike, it's disgusting, man.
Terrible trip.
Because they were taking too long taking the photo, and we were just on there for ages, and everybody's trying to get by, and then I
couldn't believe how busy it was, man. Could not believe how busy it was.
No respect.
So then we do that, come back down, and then it's getting ready for game day, innit?
So where's the next place you're going?
So
what's
management, the UFC brass have actually been hitting us up to see how we are. Obviously, I've got a sore nose, but I'm happy to go and fight with a broken nose.
A lot of people are asking if you're going to do London.
No,
that's the big question.
London's a definite no-go. I'm probably going to go there as a fan. Go and see, like, enjoy it, have a couple of beers. If
When
there's
is
not
it?
a fight.
March
I
time.
think it's like is it the 17th?
It's a good card,
or
though.
14th. I
Good
think it's
card.
like St Paddy's weekend. It's in London.
Okay.
But there've been rumblings of offering us something at the end of March.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. Like I've been back in the gym, had 6 stitches in my eyebrow, cut them out myself, pair of nose scissors, a pair of toe scissors, and eyebrow pincers. Like, what do you call them? Like,
Don't know. Tweezers.
Tweezers.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Tweezers.
And then I'm trying to pull these stitches out myself.
Ross is quite fond of the tweezers.
Hey, steady.
So
Come
I-
on.
So apart from that, like, I've not got any injuries. So I'm like, right, let's get back into it. So I've been back in the gym, and just trying to improve, because I, as I said earlier, I'm like, I genuinely believe I had that fight won everywhere. Like, I was so confident in my stand up, working with the guys at higher level and James Dillons.
I don't think you didn't get a chance to show it, but that's the frustrating thing for you, obviously.
So after I spoke to James, and James is like, Paul, you look so comfortable, your footwork looked good, and I was like, aye,
Your
but
shape was good as well.
well, it only lasted a couple of seconds, man, and then the next thing I'm eating some elbows.
Story of my life. Splat.
And then
You do the big talk and then you splat in 2 seconds, know what I mean?
And then I end up obviously having to go to the hospital, and Lauren Murphy's there. And Lauren Murphy, I don't know if she was a fight after me. Did you see her fight?
She got it doing, man.
Mate, her face, she looked like she was unrecognisable.
Aye, that should have been stopped.
Aye, so it was a bad night for me and Lauren.
What about the new Prime? New Prime Juice is the
I've seen
the
this.
new UFC drink, so we're not going to have any body armour through the back.
I know. How many towels have you got? Body armour towels?
I know.
I've got a host of them.
So, no mad wee money spinner for the guys, eh?
It's wild, eh?
Because I've never even tried it,
No.
but the dads out here were going apeshit for it. I know people are driving to England just to get a different flavour for their wings and all.
My son was asking about it the other day because they sell it in the wee shop beside my house. And he was like, what's this? I
What
see
is it,
this-
like Powerade or something?
I don't know.
What's-
I think it's like just flavoured coconut water.
Aye.
Like,
Is it?
for what all the
It'll
nutrition
be
guys are
pish.
saying. So there's the fight dietitian, and then the guys who I work with nutrition wise. They've basically come out and said there's no actual any benefits to drinking it. It's there needs to be like a certain amount of carbohydrates or sodium in it to actually be classified as like an isotonic drink or a
We'll
actual.
just stick with the Monster then.
Pretty much.
That's all I drink, man.
Stick with the Monster. Can't go
So
wrong.
yeah, that's what's been happening. But
Call somebody out,
we've had-
Paul.
we've had,
Stop fucking about here.
so I think see me look at the top 10. There is only
Who do you know like? Who do you want to smash?
See,
Who's do you want to break again?
See, it has to be Anthony Smith.
There you go.
We were training in the same room as Anthony Smith.
Aye.
Remember?
Aye.
You were saying before he looked pish, eh? That was what you said.
Anthony Smith was.
I'm only joking.
No, I'll say it. Anthony Smith was the backup fight for the title fight there, and he missed weight for it. You know what I mean? He had one job day, he missed weight. In the warm up room when we were training, he looked sluggish. He looked a wee bit heavy, a wee bit tubby. He looked slow as well. So
I guess it's motivation in it. Like, see if you've not got the
I
motivation
think
in a
maybe
fight.
he thought he wasn't going to fight anyway. But
Aye.
you still need to make
But
the
you
weight.
still make the weight and
Aye.
get that cheddar.
So I like that fight for you.
So I think that's the fight. It's probably not the best fight the UFC's want to put on, but when you look at that top 10, as I said, I've fought Krylov, beat Krylov, beat Ankalaev, beat Hill. I've been beat off Ozdemir and Walker.
I don't think Ozdemir's in the top 10.
No, he is.
Is he?
Aye. And the only other people who are in front of me is Glover, who's retired, who's sitting at number 5. Anthony Smith. You've got Prohaska, who's long-term injury. You've got Rakic, who's long-term injury. Jan Blachowicz. And then that's it. There's nobody else.
I thought you were going to end up drawing into Jan. That's what I thought.
But then Jan's still got this title hope on the run, whereas Anthony Smith needs a win, so it makes sense if you want to.
But Jan doesn't seem very popular with the UFC.
Well, with his whole shit they came out with the last fight, and
I thought he was good against Magomed. I thought he beat Magomed.
see, I disagree.
You think
with that
Magomed won?
I think Magomedov won, just
Why?
because control. Like he controlled him for the last 2 rounds. He
Did,
won.
but he's also hopping about on one leg.
The leg kicks were brutal, man.
Aye. Like I don't feel that he got enough credit for the work he done with the low kicks.
I don't know,
And
man.
I
I
don't
thought-
understand why
I
they
thought
don't
the control-
score.
On
I
a
thought
round-to-round basis, it was closer than people thought it was.
I had it 3-2.
I thought the last 2 rounds were the control. Like he couldn't do anything. Jan Blachowicz, a former UFC light heavyweight champion,
Couldn't
get up.
I know. I know you.
Especially when the guy's got one leg, not me.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just think that Jan should have got more credit for the striking work that he done. Like when your opponent is hopping around on one leg, I think you're going to have to say, "Fuck, there's clearly quite a lot of damage being done here." No,
I don't know, man. For me,
I
it's
need
just
to
that
attack
control.
leg more after that.
Definitely.
Well, he was
Stop
trying, and then he just
finish
got
the
took
fight
down
then.
and couldn't actually do anything. The leg kicks are fucking horrible, man.
they are
So you get like a guy at 205 smashing up your leg.
just battering it.
Talking about 205, did you see what Walker weighed in it the next day for the Saturday?
No, but I seen him in the cage and he looked pretty heavy.
So we stepped on the scales at 205, 93 kilograms. He weighed 105.5 Saturday morning before the fights. When he did his check at night, he was 107.
It's big.
With
That's
abs.
thick.
Aye, that's thick, man.
Like
Aye.
popping, eh? He was in great shape.
So my nutritionist is like, Paul, I've been researching and I just can't work out how he's done that. How he's got on so much weight. How he's rehydrated to that size. And he's like, I can't work it out. My nutritionist is a well capable guy.
He probably fucking stuck some needles in him and
Can he though?
fluids that way.
Because they can tell, can't they? If you put they
Well-
can tell if you put a needle
Well,
in.
I think for what I know or for what I've heard, they look for plastic in your blood. So they look like plastic particles. So what they've been doing is they've been using
For IVs.
glass IVs.
They're like old school Victorian ones.
Yep. So that's what they've been using for what I know, and that's harder to.
There's loads of ways round.
Aye. You see, where there's money. See, where there's money involved. People are going to cheat, and if you're coming for a huge team who probably all have the knowledge, then there's a good chance that kind of this stuff's happening.
Well, the IV use outside the UFC is no an offence anyway.
Why is it? I thought it was banned by USADA because it's a way of masking what you're taking.
So it depends. That's why you're seeing like Conor Ben failing for clomiphene and things like that, because he's trying to hide the fact he's been taking other substances. So those things will mask, but the IV thing, I thought it was just because they were saying it was encouraging people to cut too much weight because they know they can just rehydrate back.
It's a crazy world. Don't wake up.
Who
I never
you see
ever struggle.
Pereira, man?
I
How
know.
big Pereira gets.
If you
What
see
do you
his-
think about him coming to 205?
I think Jamal Hill takes him down. Like
Just beats him up. He's going to be smart, eh?
Listen, it's easy for guys to come up. It's easy. Like, look, Izzy thought he could do it. It's easy for guys to come up, but it's a lot harder than they think. And having that extra weight,
He's going to fight Adesanya first, eh?
aye,
That's what he's saying.
That rematch seems pretty good, but
What
he's
about
massive.
the card that's on next weekend? So you've got the big one in Australia.
Perth, yep. They've got Volk versus
Volk's going up to fight Islam.
Makachev.
I'm not an Islam fan.
Nah.
No, but I like
Neither am
Volk.
I.
I like Volk.
Why you not a fan? You just don't like his style. You just don't buy into him as a character. Is it just like he's no charismatic? Like when you're wanting a champion, you're wanting somebody that's got a champ.
All of the above.
Aye. So when you've got Conor McGregor, you've got this character who has charisma, who has the chat, who can do the damage. But then when you've got like,
To be fair, Islam, he finishes people.
He's very good.
He finishes people. He's good everywhere. He's not just
he
like
done the Bronx.
He doesn't just like smell crotches and just lie there. Know what I mean? Like,
He's been the best one, eh?
Aye.
I think.
Right, sorry,
Even-
that sounded so
even
negative.
how-
The best one.
I'll expand on it.
You're
even
going to go
Habib-
Russian. You're just going to nail all
Even
the
Habib,
Russians.
like he was still putting people away, but I don't know, man. It's just not my bag.
He wasn't he? Khabib wasn't really putting people away.
Well, finish everybody.
Never finished Ali Aquino.
Well, he
And I don't
finished
think he
Gaethje,
never-
McGregor, all them.
He never finished. Fucking Barboza. Did he actually? Might have in the 5th round.
Oh, I think he probably
I think he
did.
finished him in the 5th round. I'd have to check.
No, he finished his last 4 or something. The main ones. His title defences and stuff.
So
like
what other Russians don't you like? Ross, just out of
It's
curiosity.
not that I don't like
you
them.
racist, Ross? Is
I'm not. I'm the same race.
Are you just every American movie like just hating on the Russians? They're the bad
They're
guys.
bad
Is that
guys,
why?
mate. The Russians are the bad guys. You never watched James Bond?
I feel does.
Aye,
If you
they're
got-
always-
is there a Russian you actually like? What about like Hamzat Chimaev? Do you like him?
I think he's Chechnyan.
Do you like
It's
him though?
Potato,
Aye.
potato, isn't it? Man?
He's
It's,
alright.
it's the same thing.
He's okay. I like him more since I started watching his YouTube channel. I never used to be that much a fan of him, but I started watching his YouTube channel. It's actually quite cool. I quite like it.
I seen he was out with Darnell, Mokev, Brendan Lowe.
Thailand.
Aye,
That's some Matt.
that's some man, innit, man. And they posted a video.
Tell
with-
just looks like he's getting battered off out, doesn't he?
Aye.
What
Like
is-
I am in the gym.
Some people get leathered.
Aye.
What's,
That's how it is.
what's
What
next for
about
him, man?
the Fury fight? And Fury's finally going to be matched with Jake Paul. Ross loves this topic.
He'll not fight him.
It's
Do you know
signed
what?
for Saudi Arabia, I think. Saudi, is it Saudi?
I think he'll find a way to get out the fight, Tommy Fury. Too
I
much
thi-
pressure on him.
I think he's been bullied into it.
Aye, he's been told you've got to do. You said he said he would do it.
Aye.
That's the problem. You said you would do it.
I'm betting Jake.
I'm betting Jake
I'm
too.
putting money
I think
on
Jake
Jake.
will knock him out. It doesn't matter if Tommy Fury's a better boxer than Jake Paul. He might be, but I've watched.
He's a true fighting man, though, bro.
Well, aye, on the cobbles and fucking in the tarmac driveway and that. Aye. Oops.
Jesus, man.
So, what's-
Tyson Fury? I don't know the fucking one.
So the
But that's
other
How much pressure is that though?
Aye,
You've got
well,
Tyson Fury
your
coming in
brother.
saying if you
I'll say
didn't
it
win,
right
you're
now,
changing your
I
name.
like Jake Paul and I like Logan Paul.
I like the
I like the two.
see the
More
one
so
that's
much
see the one
Logan.
that's doing the wrestling.
Aye, Logan.
Mate, he's a stud.
Aye. Did you see him at the Royal Rumble?
Did you see that jump?
I told you I'd take a day off after the Royal Rumble, Charlie. How funny is that?
Brilliant, man.
So the jump in the two,
Aye,
brilliant.
bomb.
The best thing
I'm
about the
sure
Royal
of-
Rumble
is
was
that guy
Logan
called
Paul's
Ricochet?
part. Who?
Was that the guy who did the jump with him? Who was the guy that did the?
I don't know. He's a newer guy.
Is his name Ricochet?
No, do you think it's Rikishi?
No, Ricochet.
He couldn't do that.
No, he definitely couldn't.
But that was the best thing about the Royal Rumble was Logan Paul's spot.
Why do you think he's so famous? He's everywhere.
He's athletic, though.
Aye, yes,
for sure.
Like that seemed like a wee
He
highlight of some of
boxed
the
me,
moves he was
obviously
doing.
boxed Mayweather, and it was, that's what it is. Don't get his own to Mayweather and fucking
Your old
Chalmers.
mucker.
Aye.
Your old mate's getting
What
paid.
is going on there?
He's getting a wage for
But I
him.
see the point if it was a guy that was
Chalmers?
good at boxing.
It was meant to be Liam Harrison.
Aye.
It was meant to box him, but
See, I would
something happened to
watch
his knee.
that. I would watch that. Because that would be fun for the first minute at least.
Aye. And then
What's-
Liam Harrison just goes fuck it and boots him in the leg.
So obviously Mayweather plays with these guys. And
good
gives them
mate.
the.
Chalmers can't fight though, man. That's the thing. He can't throw a punch.
I know he's.
I
it's
wonder
wild.
what he's getting paid. Or do you get
don't know.
a million at least?
I don't think many people are going to watch it. Like outside of the UK, who knows who he is? Like, no offence to the guy. Like, the guy obviously had a.
No,
a
good
run.
for him getting some money and
Aye,
whatever.
the guy
No,
obviously
he's
had
a
run.
gimp, man.
The guy obviously
a
had a
gimp.
run
He is a
on
gimp.
It's mad
Bellator.
because he said to me, "Do you?" Eh?
He said he would do me and all, and then when I seen him in face, in person.
That's right. We
And
get
usual.
pictures taken. Did he lose? So what was it?
Dublin,
Was it
and no, Dublin and Newcastle. he was on the
mate,
same
he
card
lost,
as me.
He lost to that
Corey
fucking
Browning. Corey Browning.
It's like a pure.
I'd hillbilly,
He
he's shite,
beat him,
man.
didn't he? But you'd won and we were getting our pictures taken, I'm sure. Was that day?
Well, then media.
Did he not already
was
think he
in-
had won and walked off or something? And the guy, the ref,
Oh, it was
hadn't-
him? It was
aye,
Corey?
he thought the
I
ref
did
hadn't
that.
stopped it or something. Oh man, that was-
Okay, he looked him like. But if you're making money off it, but you
Big
can't fight. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, he's not doing MMA anymore at all, is he?
Floyd's just jumping about boxing on his
Just like,
cunts.
anybody want
and
a-
raking in millions. in
Anyone
it.
wanting a spar and we'll just sell it to cunts. We'll make it out like it's a real fight. Aye.
That's pretty much what it is, man.
Mate, let him get his money. Floyd, why no?
Aye, Floyd.
Aye, why not?
Why anybody?
Do you
So,
know what I mean?
obviously talking about fights, are we going to do a wee companion to watch the 284? Is it 284?
Yes.
Aye,
Do
well,
you fancy it?
No, it's on at 6 in the morning though. Greg says the Super Bowl's on.
So we can just do an all-nighter, Super Bowl at 3 in the morning, hit the 6, and then they'll just see us all
So it's
sled
on
on
at 6 in the morning.
I think so.
6 a.m.
I'm going. You want me to check? This looks bad taking my phone out in the podcast, but I'm checking.
Shit.
Check away.
So you go. There's a fight I was wanting to ask you about, Paul, because you fought the two of them a long time ago. So Jimmy Crute's fighting the guy you fought in Minneapolis,
Alonzo Merrifield. That's
so
a good
how
fight.
do you see that one going?
I think Jimmy Crute's just had a bit of a bad run there. I still think he's got
Rocking the mullet.
Aye. I think that was the best thing he'd done was get rid of the mullet. Because see when Hill knocked him out and he zaps him.
You just see that waving.
And the mullet
he was like that laser guy, the Uncle Laser guy I sent you.
Aye,
Australians love a mullet though.
it's just blows in the wind as he's falling.
Fucking gander over here. That laser guy.
Brilliant,
It's so
mate.
funny. He's from Texas actually.
So
He looks like Jimmy Crute.
I'm going to go Jimmy Crute. What do you think?
I think Jimmy Crute as well.
I think he's a much more well-rounded opponent.
Alonso's just like a
brawler.
inflated bodybuilder.
Aye, he still knocked me out. Both the guys beat me.
I didn't want to say that though. That's a long time ago. But Alonso's he's just too muscly. I think if he doesn't beat somebody in the first round, man, he's in trouble. I
So
think.
his training partner was remember the big guy for Philly?
Njoku.
Njoku.
Aye.
That's who, it was like him.
He fought a couple of weeks ago.
He's good, man.
He is. Did
he
he not
go
do that boy
triangle?
for City Kickboxing? Did he not dust him? Like
Aye.
absolutely flat.
Oh, he's on a tear, I think.
Aye.
Sure, he's on a tear.
He's massive.
Aye.
I couldn't see after that fight, remember? He just kept poking his like big digits in my
Aye.
eyes. I was like, I cannot see, man.
I
And then
can't find a start
The
time for this.
referee comes in and he's
If
like,
it's in Australia, it'll be an early one.
It's got to be.
Aye, it won't be.
one of the worst places in the world I ever fought was Australia.
Why?
Absolute fucking horrible, man. Too many Australians.
The chicken
I
Foster's.
understand.
Aye. No, just fucking travelling, what was it, like 26 hours all in. We land there and I thought, I'm just travel. I'm busted with travel. Turns out I had like a flu and then had to go in and fight. And it was just horrible. Adelaide's a shithole as well.
So-
like, I don't think I'm going to have any fans in Australia anyway, but fucking shithole.
Aye, fuck them. They gave us DMAs, so that's decent. I was going to go into the wee lady was competing at the weekend. Obviously, Ross.
Your daughter does jiu-jitsu and the boy does
the
jiu-jitsu.
fact that the Wednesday jiu-jitsu as well.
Aye.
I'm a father now as well. I mean,
Do you want them going to do your sport?
I don't know, but wrestling or jiu-jitsu maybe not the striking. So
I don't like them getting hit in the head.
So how was that?
Horrible.
The wrestling?
Horrible.
That was quite cool though.
It was so my daughter
It's
has never,
sickening, watching it.
she's never competed before. She's
Plus,
only
being your daughter though, she doesn't feel it yet, but
Aye, there
as
will
they get
be.
older, they'll feel the name.
So first time she steps onto the mat. So I never put any pressure on it. It wasn't like, no, you're wrestling. You're going to represent the Kerrig name. So she didn't want to wrestle and she's like, Dad, I don't want to do it. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to do it. This was when the competition first arose. And then they had started doing all the prep in the wrestling club. And she was enjoying it. And she's like, Dad, I think I want to do it. And I was like, inside, yes.
What age is she?
She's 8.
Aye.
She's 8. So I had to do all the weigh, had to weigh her, do all that kind of stuff.
She had to weigh in?
Aye, she had to weigh in.
Aye.
Because it's all part of the process,
Aye,
innit?
on the day though, innit,
On
for
the day,
wrestling?
yep. So you give them a weight, what you're going to fight at, and then you'll have to make that weight. So we did it at night, so she had a full belly, there was no cup, just didn't want to go in with a bad experience yet. So she
Getting your 8-year-old to cut. Come on. Get the bags
find
on
her
it.
the sauna and that. So we go there, we have to leave here at 6 in the morning. It was down at Largs. We get there, she weighs in, she's absolutely fine, cool.
How's the journey? Was she?
She was fine.
She happy in that?
Aye, she was
Aye.
absolutely
See,
buzzing.
Wayne's have no emotion about that. When they're young, they're just fearless.
So then this is where it changes. The minute she steps onto the mat, so they give all the matches and they give everybody you're fighting and what weight class you're in. It's like match 1, match 2, or match like mat 1, 2 or 3. She was mat 2 and she was like, and I'm like, oh, you're up at this time? She's like, I'm not the first time. I was like, no, there's a few. So it just so happened they put on these 2 girls who were like a weight class above in the age range above. The absolute beasts, man. Because any time I've been anywhere with my kids, so my oldest daughter did athletics, the girls were so much better and so much more developed than the boys, because the boys at this age, like in these sort of early like 8s, 9s, 10s, they're just morons, man. All they want to do is fight each other and bar each other, and they've got no filter. Whereas the girls are all skilled and they're doing everything properly. So these 2 lasses absolutely put on a show. One of the girls went on to win the whole her whole weight class. She was absolutely tremendous. So my daughter's like, Dad, is that what I'm doing? And then you'd girls doing like backflips and stuff, head springs, all this kind of stuff. And my daughter's looking at me, she's like, I know, just putting the fear into her. So then she's going up against a wee boy, and he was a wee boy for the grip house. And she steps onto the mat, and there it is. The minute she steps on, boom, starts crying.
Oh no, did she?
Starts crying, right?
Jesus.
So Stevie, I know. So Stevie's a wrestling coach, and I have to go over. So I'm like, Dad kicks in, and I'm like, you're okay. I'm like, listen, you don't have to do it, because I'm not putting any pressure. I'm like, you don't have to do it. I was like, but you're here right now, and I was like, if you win, you lose, you draw, it doesn't matter. It does not matter the outcome of this fight. And then I look over and I said, listen, this is this wee boy's first competition as well. And I just happened to look over. The wee guy's like,
the neck bridges or
aye,
something.
the wee guy's full regalia of wrestling. He's got MMA gear on, everything. He just looks like a badass, right? He looks like Brock Lesnar as a kid, man. So he goes in and she's
Park.
That's one of the best episodes ever. So she ends up having to wrestle this wee boy, and as I left her, I had the lip tremor.
Right.
So I pressed that sucker right down, man.
Like fucking Dr. Sleep.
It's so horrible, man. I hated every minute.
You couldn't watch?
I couldn't watch. I couldn't watch her. She had the first exchange, it was like in the wrestling tie-up, and she turned and looked at me, and it was just,
oh man, Jesus.
It was this emotion, and I just was like, I can't even watch.
That's brutal.
And I just turned
even
away.
in the gym. I've had
horrible.
I've had it with a wee man in the gym.
Horrible.
He started saying to me, he's like, so they do competitions for my age, Dad? And I'm like, aye, they do, aye. And he's like, so I could go and do some competitions. I'm like, right, listen to me. If you say you're doing this, you have to do it. I'm like, you can't change your mind. I was like, so if you say to me, I'm competing this year, that's it, you're doing it. I'm like, so make sure you want it.
He's competed, hasn't he?
No.
No? I thought he had.
Only at like in the
clubs
gym,
and
like
that.
nothing. But this is the thing as well. He's like, he said to me last weekend, so they did like a king of the mat, and he was first stone in the middle, and he beat everybody twice. Like every single other child, and they were like, right, let's just go to position. So when you get a good position, that's it, we stop. He beat everyone twice, and they were like, right, Lewis, just come out, you need to go to the back. And it's like, I know he's good.
Aye.
Do you know? And still, I'm like, I don't know though.
It's horrible.
I don't know.
Do you want to notice to see all the kids? There was loads of tears because there was quite a lot of.
Mate, it's a fucking tough.
There was quite a lot of girls versus boys, and
what age do they do that up to in wrestling?
I don't know, but I think it's to do with numbers. If there's enough numbers in that division, then you'll get away with it. But just there was loads of kids crying. There was loads of boys get beat off girls, and I'm not saying because they're girls they're weaker or any inferior. What I'm saying is the girls were much better. The boys, as I said,
It's the same at jiu-jitsu for kids. The girls are always much better.
Technically, much better. But
because, like you say, they pay attention.
So my nephew had his first competition as well. And he's a wee bit in thick side, right?
But
so
they're
he's
training partners, aren't they? They train together.
And he always goes, he plays nice with Maya because he's thick. Like if you're pointing at a wrestling wee boy, this wee boy is it. He's got autism. He's got autism, so he's been looking forward to this event for like. If we told him about it, and he's like, "Can I just slam them?"
Yeah,
aye, mate. If you slam somebody, I'm going to be super proud. Like I'm going to be like, you're representing the Craig name, man. I'm coming off 2 losses, mate. You can change your name around.
Give him the wee tartan thing to walk out.
So there was, like as you were saying, there was a wee boy whose dad competed in the Commonwealth. His dad competed in the Commonwealth Games, and his son had his. Singlet on. It was brilliant. It was massive. He was only a wee boy. He ended up winning, which was brilliant. So I thought it was great. Passing on that next generation and watching your son.
He's been forced to do that though.
Oh, 100%.
I sometimes think
if you've
that
done 1,000
got
neck
to
bridges,
fucking wrestle.
like, am I forcing them to do it?
No, man. If they're enjoying it, that's
Exactly.
it. See if they don't enjoy it, then.
So I took my daughter to the youngest to jiu-jitsu because I'm like, fuck wrestling. Wrestling's absolutely shit. Like, it's horrible. And I took her to jiu-jitsu. She hated it. Absolutely hated it. And she's like, Dad, I don't want to do that. And I was like, I bet it's much better.
It gets better.
It's really good. And she didn't want to go, but the oldest does jiu-jitsu, wrestling, kickboxing. She enjoys it.
What do you think about the kickboxing though? Because he said that to me. He's like, maybe I could start doing a bit of Muay Thai. And I was like, getting hit in the fucking head. No. I'm like, You're solving Rubik's Cubes in 90 seconds, buddy. We're not doing this.
you're going to be my key card to victory, mate. You're going to be my golden goose.
Aye,
you're
I
either going to be a
can't-
genius or you're going to be a
Big Bang Theory.
Aye.
Or you'll just be like me, just a pure cabbage, wanting to shave your head and then get it tattooed and that. And
You
just-
want to get your forehead tattooed, your head.
I'm getting the back of my head done.
What are you getting
But
done?
tattooed? What, hairline?
No. You nasty bastard.
You get the husband.
Yeah, you're cool because you've got a full head of hair. That's,
Nice, it's good, isn't it, Chris? Having a full head of hair, yeah.
Mate, one of the best tweets I've ever seen. Comeback of the year of 2022, Paul Craig's hairline.
I know, it's fucking brilliant. I didn't think my hairline was that bad until I seen it, like, until
you
you look
see
back
pictures.
pictures and you're like, oh yeah, fucker. I thought I rocked that hair. So, what are you getting in the back of your head?
Fucking
I'll show you.
barcode.
Are you going through like a midlife, are you going through a midlife crisis?
I'm going through some things, eh?
like a prison barcode.
And that would be quality.
You know
Agent
what I'm talking
47. Aye. That's Hitman, eh? Agent 47.
Right.
Aye. I should get that. But I'll come in here with my head tattooed. I don't give a fuck, mate.
Are
I'm
you-
unemployable as fuck anyway.
Have you been
'Cause you're
watching?
ginger.
Have you been watching The Last of Us?
No,
I'm
so
not
you
going
do
to
it
wait.
for me.
I'm going to-
I'm going to wait.
Aye.
I'm going to wait and
I've only just discovered The Walking Dead.
Oh, so that's what I was going to say. I've just came off 12 years of The Walking Dead, and it was a slow death at the end, and I'm just right into
it?
another a zombie apocalypse show. I'm like, what am I doing?
I'm on
It's
to
good.
series 7.
It's really good.
Am I wasting my time?
Aye.
I
Yeah.
would see it out, man. If you went that far, I'd see it.
Nah, mate.
You go-
It's
you
the
go
same
go
shit.
it now.
Walking Dead's the same shit. You go from
Zombies or gangs, eh? That's it.
happy place, shit happens,
Aye.
unhappy
Got to
place.
move.
Happy place,
I think
shit
that's
happens.
what would happen in a zombie apocalypse, isn't it?
Does the wee boy die? Tell me now.
But one,
Oh, mate, for fuck's sake.
Carol.
Right, so that means I.
I don't. I gave up.
He gets, he loses an eye.
Is it- I'm
Somebody
at a
eye
pass-
foxes. Somebody eye foxes skull.
Skull fucks him.
Dude, actually, is that true? Because I'm letting my son
No, it
watch.
is. Watch it.
Oh, my sound's wet, I think. Is it gone? I can't hear myself.
I can hear
you, mate. Don't you worry about that.
I'll let my son watch
So
it.
what he's watching then? What he's watching?
I've just watching-
Netflix
I've
or
been doing
films?
the old rewatchables. That's what I've been hitting up.
Seen a new Avatar?
No. Oh yeah, I'm going to
what-
pictures to see it.
What was the? What was
You-
our
you
movie?
people?
What was our movie in Rio?
A Few Good Men.
What was the line?
You snotty bastard.
You snot-nosed little
No, you
bastard.
snotty little bastard.
Brilliant.
Aye, what a film.
How many times did we watch that? I think I watched that
I
about
watched it
4.
when I went
Did
home.
you? I think I watched that scene.
Have I pulled that out? No.
No, you're
Nah, I
right.
can't hear myself.
So I watched that scene about 4 times. Watched the film once. Watched the scene 4 times. And then you sent me it again. I was like, when you were home,
That
I was
mean
like,
it? Nah, still no.
I can hear you, Ross.
sorry, I can hear you, mate.
I just talk to myself. Just talk
Keep on,
to
keep on.
Oh, that's me. I'm back now.
Ah, you're all good.
Don't know. Oh, it was maybe that. Aye.
Um,
Me
then
jumping
we-
about. I'm getting too excited.
57 minutes now. There's no money, by the way.
57. Sweet.
So I would hit that.
Just
I'd
get
hit that,
carried away.
4 times in Rio.
Nah,
and
A
then
Few Good
because
Men. You seen that?
No.
Do you
Never
watch
seen it.
films, Ross?
Sometimes. Mate, I've got a shit job.
What are you
with-
watching right now? Are you still falling asleep on the job?
Every day. I'm no.
Does
see,
your boss listen to podcasts?
2 of the guys who work there do.
So you're getting sacked
Malky and
next week?
John, do not grass me, eh? Do not grass.
Oh, look at the name drop. Like, please don't grass.
Don't fucking grass me up because I'll know it was used to.
Where are you, Livingston?
No, Edinburgh. I
Edinburgh.
work at like student accommodation blocks, but mate, they're
So
just wee
where's
dicks.
that accent for?
You couldn't help it, eh?
57
I thought-
minutes
I thought
before
we
you're
were
going to
gonna
get
get
away
through.
with it.
There's me done this again. This is me. Fucking hell.
You're all right.
I'm a fanny. No, that's it. Sound.
You don't need to hear your own voice.
So where
I
you
know.
from, Ross? Queensferry?
South Queensferry.
That's where the big bridges are, isn't it?
That's it. The 3 of them now. There's only 2 when I was a laddie. But I'm from the Edinburgh side, no the Fife side.
Have we got to ever see you back in the cage again?
Aye, this year for sure.
This year?
This year.
Here's the question: where are you going to train, mate?
Oh,
Well, you want me to just say it? Just got to train at higher level now.
we got so far in the
I know.
podcast. The
That's
accent,
it.
no higher
Fad-
levels been brought up. No.
Now we've had to out the gym politics, so
Chris is thinking about coming to higher
No,
level.
no.
gym polit, mate.
Yes, he's 100%.
No,
He was,
no.
Him and Danny were vibing.
I've got a Scottish hit squad
Mate,
tattoo,
I get
bro.
the Scottish hit squad at the start of the
blinded
year and
for
I get
life.
fucked at the gym at the summer.
Right, so we won't go into that just
No.
yet. What we were talking about before that.
Aye,
So
we'll
you've
just-
got, you're,
we'll
you got to
cut-
train at a higher level then. You
cut-
hopefully see you fighting this year.
Aye, I'd like to
Maybe
fight a couple of times this
in
year.
a Holytown Havoc show, maybe.
Aye, I'll fight in the Holytown Havoc Fair. Are you going to run another Holytown
Probably
Havoc
in August, probably.
in the same venue?
Aye. Well,
Perfect. Mate, people,
I don't know.
I like that. See, do you know one of my favourite MMA memories ever? Fighting in the Miners Club, the same card you were on.
Aye.
Like, it's just, There's something about the places, eh?
You need to. If you're up and coming fighter, you need to fight there.
It's
But
part
now,
of the journey.
these
isn't it?
amateurs are training like professionals now, and they go right to the big shows early bells, maybe pro debuts,
I know.
1-0, 2-0.
At what point are you no amateur? If you're training, if you're in the gym every single day, you stay in the gym and you're training like a pro, but you're fighting an amateur, at what point does this become? I know you're going to say you have to go through the journey, but
The rule set. See, when you start your round timing and the elbows and the no fucking bigger gloves and stuff like that.
Think about when we were all amateurs.
We
Shows
were
were
amateurs.
nowhere near as streamlined. Like, you'd go to a show one week and it was 3 3-minute rounds. You'd go to one the next month and it was 3 4-minute rounds.
do you remember there used to be like pro C class and A class, and there was all these
Ian
different.
Freeman's still doing that.
Or
Is
do,
he?
do you remember you could wear like the puffy 7-ounce sparring gloves, or you could get those 7-ounce gloves that were basically a 4 and just had extra padding on the back of the hand and the thumb.
Of course, I remember
And like,
them, man.
mate, I wore them at Art Combat, and I can remember getting fucking clattered. Like,
Did you get leathered?
No, I won that fight. I don't know how. It's on my
See?
YouTube channel.
Did I?
You
Was I
were-
refereeing that fight? Was I?
No,
I
it
think
was big
Referee?
Swaney.
no refereeing. I was.
You refereeing?
No, I've never ref. I was
You
the
and Sloan.
cornerman. No, the cornerman. The guy that says
Judge?
Judge.
Fucking hell, you're refereeing a corner to judging.
It's the joys of getting punched in the head.
I
Tell me
remember
something like
once you were given you didn't ken this because you didn't remember it. You were given an interview at a show, an FFC show, and I went to watch it, and you were on crutches, right? I was pissed.
Paul was on crutches.
You had crutches.
that. Was that maybe after you tore my leg?
You fought what's his name? Kieran
Kieran
Malone.
Malone, my
It was
teammate.
that show,
Aye.
your teammate, Kieran Malone. And you had crutches. You were given this interview chatting away, and I was pissed, and I came walking past you, mate, and I just fucking booted the crutches, just like, boff, just like, and I remember you just turned.
Is he trying to say he kicked your crutches away?
Aye, and I remember you just like mid conversation, you just turned round and stared at me, and I can remember just being up your steaming mess, just like, and then going and sitting down. That was fucking years ago.
Aye, they'd been a while ago. Back in the old FFC days,
Aye.
there were some good shows in the UK. I see what I see now, man. I seen there's no all these opportunities
Cage
anymore.
Warriors, and that's it.
People like
Talk
people,
about my company like that.
people want to fight. People want to fight in big shows. They don't
Yeah.
want to fight in all these small shows.
Oh, terrible.
And I
They
don't
want to
blame
put-
them.
They don't want to put fighters on shows, and I think the issue is, like, for what I see for the guys at higher level, they're struggling. The vast majority of their team are struggling to get fights on shows. They were looking at Mark Ewan was meant to be fighting on a major show,
PFL.
and
I saw the post about it.
and they had got an opponent, and the guy didn't want to take the fight because he wants an easier fight, and because it's in his hometown, they've allowed it to. They've said, "Aye, that's fine. Mark's not getting the fight." Now, at what point is this detrimental to this kid's future?
Well, look at boxing. It's what boxing's done.
it's bullshit.
The
isn't it?
sports has moved on, MMA. Like
I know,
when we
it's-
were young, we were amateurs. You'd go anywhere for experience just to get fights. Now, like nobody wants to fight.
Do you remember the show we were on? It was probably Peter McQueen's Total Combat. You were sitting having a Nando's, and they phone you up and say, "You want to take a fight? We've got a fight for you." At like 70, was it?
80.
80, and then you ended up having to bin his dinner and get ready to go and fight.
Aye,
Just because
couple hours notice.
they were the
See,
Wild
they were
West.
the days,
They
man.
were the days, man. We
They
were
did this
fighters.
anymore.
Nah.
We were fighters.
But a part of me gets it. Like, they do want to just jump to the big show. Like, of course you want to go and just get straight into Cage Warriors, but mate, if you haven't fought in the minors club,
It's
you're
definitely
going to fucking
part of the journey.
fold, mate. And I don't know. I just think it's important. I think young guys should be doing it. I think it should be built up properly. And now, especially looking at Scotland, what shows are no
But then,
running?
as you're
No,
saying,
they're all getting cancelled on left, right, and centre.
But the sport's changing, and having a few fights, being a 5-0 guy now gets you the UFC. Gets you the White's Contender Series. So why would you fight in these small shows against guys who you don't know? It makes sense
Then
to
you're
fight
going
on.
to get found out if you've no.
Exactly,
If you're not good enough.
But what people want to do is people would rather say, "Oh, I was."
Yeah,
I
no,
was.
100%.
Whereas it doesn't matter about being.
Mind the year where we had, I had personally like 5 or 6 fights lined up. And they were just going straight on Instagram and going like, "Oh, look, he's training with Paul Craig, he's training with Mark Godby, or training with Chris Bungard," and pulling out. And I couldn't get a fucking fight. And I was like, what am I going to have to... Like, remember we were 20 minutes away, they phoned up, "Aye, boy's not coming." Like, what do you mean, mate? I've just driven all the way down to fucking Sunderland.
So
Favela.
I fought a guy, I think Neil Laird fought him as well, we'll not say his name, but this guy had like 2 different profiles for being a fighter.
Big man's in the penitentiary just now.
He's a beast.
He was
Fucked
a
a
bad
few
guy.
mouths. A few unwilling moves.
But that's what was happening back when we were doing it.
I was scheduled to fight him too.
Were you?
Yeah.
I did. The guys save shows, but sometimes
do, aye, they step
tournament,
in.
especially
The
in
old
boxing.
Sean Lomas as well, man. That guy's fought everywhere.
I used to about 200 fights.
And my last guy, just same day replacement, same day or day before or something like that, and the fight before him, like my guys pulled out. All right,
Was this the guy that was like that to you? I've got work tomorrow. Can we go easy on it?
That was the same.
No, you're getting fucked up.
He just went straight for the fucking 40-second finish. I was
You're
like,
getting done.
I know, but it's just, I don't know. It's fucking, it's damn, like you say, it's damaging itself.
It'd be good to like find out what's happening with these guys and their mental capacity. Know the guys that the journeymen, but these fighters, these up and coming guys, like guys for your gym, Chris, with regards to like Jordan, who's having fights
Your
in
gym.
but having them on and finding out
of course.
what they think of this new generation, because we grew up.
Well,
with
they're not
massively
getting
different-
fights. They aren't getting fights.
I know.
I think that there's always fights out there, but it's like, is it the fights that you want? There's always coaches that will slow people down.
Aye,
Or
I think that's the worst
they'll
thing.
try to pad or protect their fighters and like maybe build them slowly, which is alright. But
There needs to be a point, mate.
when you've been doing it a long time, then
Aye.
like, the
MMA's
sport waits for nobody. MMA doesn't wait around, that man.
That's what I've said. The next generation of kids aren't doing jiu-jitsu or wrestling. Or Ross Cooper, he's a striker. Chris Bungard, he's a wrestler.
Aye.
Paul Craig, he's a grappler.
They just do MMA.
They just do MMA and like see when
Aye, they're frightening.
I know when I'm watching the next level and I'm seeing what these kids can do, and that's why I'm saying like kids aren't the amateurs anymore. Like when I think about young Sean, like you've had a grapple with Sean, you've held pads for him. Is there any amateur about him?
No, man.
No.
He's a beast.
The kid's a pro.
He's a beast, man.
Faye was about the age of 7. I think his dad had him like on a diet.
He
And he's-
done the Rick Cartman weight gain, fucking 3,000.
he- that's what I'm meaning. Like, at what point is amateur no amateur anymore? Because it's literally just to get these guys a couple of fights to then become an absolute beast at pro.
But the sport, I don't like the missing the stages. I think, like I say, probably even for, like Chris, you fought on some massive shows. Like, do you still think about fights in the minors club?
For you, mate.
That's what I mean. It's
Literally
And the
fights.
streets around the sheets.
Aye, but it's how it is, isn't it? It's, I don't know.
I've got a jiu-jitsu match next week down in Norwich Open. Nobody really knows this. This is quite first
This is
time.
breaking news.
Yes, but hopefully, well, depending where this goes, I'll maybe have competed at brown belt level. So I'm doing gi and no gi, but they're named at my weight, so I've been putting with all the heavyweights. So that should be interesting. Heavyweight brown belts should still be good. Good,
See,
tough test, but
A lot of people think, see, when it's size, he's much bigger, he's going to win, doesn't he? That way, look at me in Sardinia.
Aye.
Remember that wee guy? Jed Hewd.
aye.
Man, he jumped in my legs and just fucking rode me like Seabiscuit.
Aye, he's good though.
He's
So
shit hot.
I've not competed in the gi since blue belt level, so I skipped to purple then brown. So it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I've got a wee bit of a nerve injury now, but hopefully it's away by next weekend.
So your fight's announced as well, though. For Kate, we're not saying anything. We shouldn't be there.
No, I'm fighting Gavin Hughes rematch in April, the 15th in Manchester. So I'm really looking forward to that. Pretty motivated.
Why?
The guy's asked for me a couple of times and he's already beat me. So it's
Why
like,
does he ask for you, though?
You don't keep asking somebody you've beat. You know what I mean? So I'm quite angry at that. So I'm really looking forward to hurting him.
So what you're saying is he's doing it out of disrespect, asking for you, John?
No, I think it's because where my careers went and where his went since we last fought. Like I've fought like 3 times as much as
Aye,
him.
like you fought on Bellator.
Aye. Beat world champions
You've
and that.
travelled the world, aye.
Where he's like, well, I've beat this guy, so if I beat him again, then it puts me back up here in this new
Aye.
promotion.
And that's it. Like your last fight was for the Cage Warriors belt.
A world title, aye.
Aye. There you
So
go.
he could be coming at that angle, but I'm still annoyed at the way I think he's taking it. It's like, I've beat him before, I'll beat him again.
That's how it looks.
It's totally not the same fight
Look
at
at
all.
you, shit, Stan. Like that's how it looks.
That's how it looks.
But I know for a fact I'm going to hurt him. I'm going to just
That's mad because he messaged me the other day saying he was just smoking, but I didn't know what I mentioned because
I can't wait to cut him to pieces, man. Honestly, like I've never been motivated or as confident in a fight in my full career. And
when
I've
is that?
been started the fight
Because
camp
the actual
April 15th.
the last fight, it wasn't like it was
I
like
probably should have
had
finished him,
aye.
I know.
You had him,
Aye.
and then it was just sometimes you zig when you zag and you get caught.
I got caught in a guillotine, which has still got a good guillotine. So it's,
Aye, he's got a good squeeze.
we were because we were supposed to fight him last year, and we were training for it in Sardinia, and Paul was like walking on the guillotines, and we were drilling,
Aye.
and we had it covered, and he poofed out it, and
Poofed
ended up
out it.
getting the champion in 2 weeks'
Shat it.
notice.
Love it.
Shat his drawers, we scouse can't.
but like you say, fight anyway. They just
Aye,
jump
no,
straight into
aye.
the title fight.
Aye. Well,
Just
I think if I didn't take that fight down the line, I would have been annoyed at myself.
Of course you would have.
No, it's a good fight, and then the same again. You get that victory, and then you move on and look for that title shot again.
I fought the world champions in Bellator, Bama, and Cage Warriors now. Like that guy's not since we last fought. He's fought nobody.
You've got
So it's like
you've got
what
all
you
the
do.
gloves, haven't you? You've got all the gloves.
Aye.
You've got the
I love
Bama,
that, man.
I'm
you've got the
racking
Cage
up all the
Warriors.
gloves. I've even got Paul's Philly ones as well. But aye, so this grappling match, it's not a fight. These jiu-jitsu guys keep saying I've got a fight next week. Aye, well, the fucking Edinburgh Open, that's jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu isn't a fight. It annoys me, that, man. It's not a fight,
like
man.
either.
It's not a fight. So I've got this grappling match tournament next week, and then April I'm up. What's happening with you?
As I said, man, I'm looking
There's
to
maybe
get
something in the pipeline.
back out March time. Hopefully,
Hey, you just called out Anthony Smith.
hopefully when we
The Hooters better.
hopefully the next week we'll with this next podcast we'll be able to.
Well, they need to check your beak and see if you're all right to.
Nah, it's fine, man. Like,
Don't check Ross's beak.
I know. don't test it for traces.
This will pretty much be the last thing. When was the last time you went into a fight with nothing? You went in there and your body was like, is this what a body should feel like? Like you go in and there's always something. Like we fought Jamal Hill with a torn adductor. Remember? We couldn't lateral step. We literally could not step to the left. We've been in with wrists fractured. So going in with a broken nose is nothing until they touching you. Like
The management shouldn't have said that then. They should have kept that on a down low.
it is what it is, man. But
Mind
that's-
when they used to like actually press your face in the medical before it? I don't know, maybe fucking
they
still do.
still do it. Aye.
Yeah, it's just been that long.
What about this studio then? How cosy is this place?
I like it. Yeah.
Is this a new home? Is this a new home?
It looks good to me.
I like it.
Aye, it's going to be good. So last but not least, Coop, you getting coming up?
Nah, might go to the gym in the morning.
Decent pull-ups.
Aye, couple of pull-ups, do a bit of squatting, see what I can do. That's it.
What you type in your search engine in the hub?
Mate, I don't watch porn. I've outgrown it. You just,
What do you type in?
Joke
Bukkake?
it.
Be honest.
I truthfully didn't watch porn. No word I lie. Didn't watch it.
Interracial gangbang. Would you like?
Depends on what side.
This is getting dark. So the level podcast, guys.
That's a wrap for the
That's
first
it.
one.
I think it's the first one in the books.
It's been
So
good.
aye, 12th of February. I'll see you 6 a.m.
Well, if we get the green light for Greg, we've been up for the Super Bowl.
Greg, you're a Super Bowl man. What team you going for?
Well, my team's don't win it. My team get bummed out, but
Were you
I
the
think it's
San
Chiefs.
Francisco 49ers?
I'm the Chargers.
Are you a
Chargers.
Charger?
I think Chiefs will win, but
I once got a Green Bay hat, so
That's
I'm,
right.
I'm a Packer guy.
That's
Just-
right.
just 'cause I
There's
got
not
a-
a-
just
Hearts
'cause I
will
got a
win
green
it,
hat.
They're not in it
Hearts will
anyway.
win it.
Hearts will win it. Right, on that note, guys, that was the Leather Podcast. We'll speak to you soon and stay safe.
Ciao.
Goodbye. I was going to say ciao. You just fucking stole
Let's
it.
say ciao.
Fake
Thank
ciao.
you. Goodbye.